So you were telling us about registering nursing and midwifery cancelled registration. So maybe tell us more about that.
All right, yeah. So, you as a nurse practicing in your country, you have to know that when you move to the UK and like in your country, there is nothing as general nursing. They've got like small division of nursing, which includes adult nursing, there's pediatric nursing, mental nursing, district nurses. They're just separate branches of nursing. So you can only register with one of them from outside your country, outside the UK. So you have to decide, what are you passionate about? Do you like working with the children? Do you like working with the adults, or do you want to do mental health? So it's a decision that you need to make. But when you move to the UK later, you're allowed to something called double registration. Like you are a registered adult nurse, but if you still want to be a midwife, you can register. But at the beginning, you're not allowed to double register, so you have to decide to take one field.
Oh, okay. So, how long, say, when we say later, you can double register? Maybe is that like an year, 2 years?
All right, so I wouldn't give a definite period of how long you can double register, but all you need to know is NMC registration or creating an account is just a first step into nursing, being a UK RN. You still have 3 or 4 steps into becoming a UK RN. Yeah, you can double register once you've been a UK RN and have finished with your first year of practice in the UK. You're allowed to do double registration. So it all depends with when you became a UK RN.
Okay.
And in other words, if I can expound, a UK RN is a nurse that's registered with NMC and you've already done your OSCE exams and passed, and you now have a PIN to practice.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We'll get to the OSCE bit in a few. So then, do you do your IELTS? Did you have to like do your IELTS, or what was the next step after registering? Yeah.
All right. So just to say, when you're doing an NMC registration, apart from the money that's needed for NCK verification, you need to pay for NMC registration. By the time I paid the £140 to register, and then when you register, they'll give you a test of competence. Once your verification of the documents are correct, they'll give you a test of competence. That means they allow you to do the exams, an exam called CBT. Yeah.
So, do you pay for that exam?
Yeah, you also pay for that exam. By the time that was in 2021, I paid £83 for it.
And because I'm an accountant, I'll just be noting down the prices. Then we're going to just have like a very clear budget. So we started with saying you'll need like 7,000 for your registration.
12,000.
Or 7 and 5, yeah?
Yeah.
So 7 is for?
7 is because you are applying for out-migration.
Out-migration, and then 5 is for your verification.
Yeah, for the card that you have.
Okay, so if you have like 3, say you have done your diploma and then you've done your... It's 5 times 3. Please just give one.
Okay.
But what are the benefits of, say you have a diploma, you have a degree? Why would I choose to have my 10,000 spent? Will I not just choose to have like 5,000?
Because when you like apply for verification of all your certificates, you're like creating greater chances for yourself of getting better in specialized jobs.
Okay.
In Kenya, people have done higher diplomas. They higher diplomas in critical care, higher diplomas in theater nursing, and all higher diploma in mental health. So if you include those certificates, you increase your chances of getting a job in the specialty that you like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think you start with like your 7,000, and then you can add your 5,000, make it 12. If you have more, make it 15 or 17 or more.
Yeah.
And then now you pay your £140.
Yeah.
That's the next one for your CBT.
No, the £140 is for the NMC, for the NMC registration.
Okay. So you then need £140 for the NMC registration.
Yeah.
So if you're using whatever exchange rate you're using, do the math. And then what else?
And then at the NMC registration, they will ask you for your documents. So have your documents ready. They will want your school certificate. They will want your passport.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they will want your nursing registration now, the NCK. So that's where the NCK verification comes in.
Comes in.
Yeah.
Okay. So after. Oh, okay. So you actually need your passport and your NCK registration
Yeah, and as well as your school certificates.
and the school certificate.
Yeah.
Okay. And then now you start doing your IELTS, or at what point do
Yeah,
you do
so after the 140, after your Nursing Council of Kenya has verified that it's true you trained with them and registered with them, you'll get a test of competence. That's to mean that they have allowed you, they've approved you as a nurse. Yes, they are sure you're a nurse. So you can go ahead and do the exams. That's why you pay the £83 for your CBT.
Or £83 again for your CBT? Yeah. So how is the test? Is it like numerical or?
The CBT is means computer-based test. Basically, it's a theoretical exam. It's got two parts. The first part asks you about like normal question MCQs, like the multiple questions. You have to. It's normal nursing questions that they ask. And then on the second part, it's arithmetics. Yeah, it has a lot of calculations because as a nurse, you'll definitely give medications, and some of the medications don't come in the actual dose that's prescribed for the patient. So you need to do some calculation. They need to be sure that you can calculate.
So are you allowed to, like, say if someone fails that CBT test, for them to do the test again, or once you fail the CBT test you're done?
You're given 3 attempts. You can always try. When you fail, you can always redo. But if you have practice as a nurse, it's not a hard exam. It's things that you've been doing. Like, that's why they first need to be sure that you practiced as a nurse and registered as a nurse.
Oh yeah, that's why it's competence. Yeah. And I had another question. So if you can attempt it 3 times, can you practice? Do you have like a way you can?
Yeah, there are a lot of places actually where you can do your revision for CBT. A lot of materials are present. Even when you go onto the NMC portal, there are revision materials.
Okay. So if you're actually doing preparing to do your CBT test, NMC portal is your place to go.
Yeah, make it your friend.
Yeah. So maybe for you, how long did you take before, like, the revision time before you actually went in and did your exam, like your CBT test?
Okay, personally, I took about 12 weeks to go through the materials, because remember at that time when you're practicing for your exam, you're still working. I was working as a nurse by the time, so you don't have a lot of time. It's not like you have a whole day to practice. It's just the spare times that you have. So for me, it took me 12 weeks.
Oh, 12 weeks.
Yeah, but some people, anyway, it's variant. Some people will take 4 weeks to practice, others will take 6 months. So it all depends on how committed you are into preparing for the exam.
Okay. And 12 weeks is the whole process, like between IELTS, no, just 12
preparing
weeks
for CBT.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, that's quite some time.
Yeah.
And then now IELTS. When did you start doing your IELTS?
Okay, IELTS. One thing we all need to know is there are 2 types of IELTS. There's the IELTS General and the IELTS Academic. So if you're looking into professional registration, then you go for the IELTS Academic. Yeah, so for the IELTS Academic, they have different countries have different band requirements. For the UK, it wanted an overall of 6.5, an overall of 7, with writing 6.5, but the rest of them 7. Yeah.
And it's usually like 7 out of 7.
No, the highest band you can get is a 9.
Oh, it's
and
9.
The lowest you can get is a 1.
Okay.
Yeah, and that one actually you've done nothing.
Okay. So do we how many attempts do you have for IELTS? Like, how many times can you attempt doing your IELTS? Is it like CBT where you have like 3?
No. IELTS, being an English exam, you're sponsoring yourself, you're paying for it. You can try as many times as you want.
Oh, really?
And as many times as you can afford, yeah.
And they don't share like your failed tests with.
That's actually the worry for many people. Many people are always worried, like, oh, if I fail IELTS, will they like be penalized because I've tried many times? No. IELTS is only valid for 2 years. So depending with how many exams you've done, it doesn't matter. The last one that you passed and met the requirements that are required is the one that you'll submit.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much do you pay for the IELTS exam?
Okay. It fluctuates depending on the dollar, but at the time when I started, I personally didn't pass my IELTS in the first attempts.
Just so you know.
Yeah. I did a number of times. I went back a number of times. It's because the first time I started, I paid 28,000, but the last time I did and passed, I paid 32,000.
Inflation.
Yeah.
Okay. So then after you pass your IELTS, so you have to get your 6.5 and 7.
Yeah, so IELTS has 4 parts.
Mm-hmm.
There is the speaking, where you need to get a 7.
Mm-hmm.
There is the listening, you get a 7.
Mm-hmm.
There is the writing, you get a 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
And there's which one have you not said?
Numerical, I guess. I don't know.
Did I say speaking?
You said
listening,
speaking, listening,
writing, reading.
reading.
Yeah, reading. I almost forgot. Yeah, it's a long time. Sorry.
Yeah.
The reading part. So, in case you missed, like you've done 2 tests,
Mm-hmm.
gaps 6 months apart,
Mm-hmm.
and you failed in either one of them, not even failing, you got a lesser band.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I did my exam in January,
Mm-hmm.
got an overall of 7,
Mm-hmm.
but in speaking, I got 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did another exam in April,
Mm-hmm.
got an overall of 7.
Mm-hmm.
This time in speaking, I got a 7, but in listening, I got a 6.5. That means I still don't qualify.
Oh,
but
really?
you can combine the 2 of them
Mm-hmm.
and submit both of them, something called clubbing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because in the first one, you passed the listening, but in the second one, you passed the speaking that you did not pass in the first. If it's 6 months apart, you can always combine.
So, do you pay for clubbing? Because we've been paying for things here.
No, actually, for clubbing, you don't need to pay.
So once you like do say once you club the 2, like the reading that you had passed before and the listening that you have passed now but had failed before, then you're done.
You're done as long as the 2 tests are within 6 months.
Oh, within 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you're done with your IELTS, you went on to the job search, or?
Once you're done with your IELTS, you're done with your CBT, you've passed. The next step is job search. Yeah.
So job search, did you get someone to help you, an agency, or how did you go about it?
At that time, I would say I was not very financially stable. And if you needed someone to search a job for you, then that means you needed to go deeper into your pockets to pay for them. So I had to do lots of research. And I realized you can search the job yourself, because actually even some of the agencies that you pay go through the same process to search for you a job. So yeah, when you're broke, you're actually wiser. Yeah.
So you just went on onto Google and did your search?
I did my search, and then I realized though you can apply for jobs in the UK while still in Kenya and get an employer. You go to track jobs, just like TRAC jobs, and search. Create an account, and then you'll see all available jobs. Yeah.
Okay, and then you got. How long did it take between the jobs? Like when you started looking for your job and now the interview.
Okay, so don't give up yet. You need to apply for jobs, multiple jobs. Actually, I applied 67 jobs. Yeah, 67. Yeah, you've got to be very active when you get to the job search, because remember, there are very many people all over the world that are applying for the same job as you, and some of them are in the UK, which makes them at a higher chance of getting the job, because the employers are looking for someone who's really available, because they've got shortage. That's why they're advertising for the jobs. And bearing in mind, it was easier. Some of my colleagues who relocated earlier than I did, was easy for them because agencies were recruiting people from abroad. But some countries currently are in the red list, others in the amber list. So what that means is, if you're in the red list countries, you're not supposed to be recruited from those countries, because that means they're already having shortages in their countries. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Kenya was moved into the amber list. So Kenya being on the amber list means that as a person, I can look for a job. They can employ me at an individual level, but agencies are not supposed to recruit from Kenya actively.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting to hear. Didn't actually know there was that.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you applied for like 67.
Yeah, I
67.
did. That sounds crazy, I know. Yeah, I did like 67 job applications, and then I got around.
Did you get rejections? Like,
Oh yeah, they actually. I was happy when I got a rejection than when I got. Actually, they call it. Unfortunately, that's when you open your message, it's like, unfortunately, we didn't recruit you, we didn't shortlist you at this time. Go look for more chances will be advertised. So I was happy when I got there, unfortunately, because I was sure that somebody read my application. But some of them went ignored. You like check and see the job application, the closing date has reached. There's closing and no response. So for those ones, I was really disappointed. And at some point, I felt like giving up. But when I went online and saw some people applying even for 700 jobs, I was like,
I'm just at 67.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
I'm just a kid. And then when things happen, I always say when things happen, they always happen at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I got 4 job shortlistings at the same time. So like
Really?
4 interviews, yeah.
What was the time span like between the time when you started your job search to getting the unfortunately and to now getting the interview?
All right. Then unfortunately, within a month, I had like 10. Unfortunately, we are not recruiting from your country. Unfortunately, you didn't qualify this time. Unfortunately, and I was so tired of reading the unfortunately, but finally, in 3 months, I got the shortlisting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was invited for an interview.
How long was the interview?
They do an online interview. Some do through Microsoft Teams.
Mm-hmm.
Others do it through Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
In the 4 interviews that I was invited, I only attended 2.
Why?
Yeah, because I chose, like, you have to see the hospitals that have shortlisted you,
Mm-hmm.
and then check the environment. There's some factors to consider, like, at that point, I didn't want to go to places close to London,
Mm-hmm.
because I had done my research and realized that the cost of living was really high in those areas.
Mm-hmm.
So if I got a job farther from London,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely knew the cost of living would be affordable for me.
Okay. And then now for the interview, how was it? Was it like in parts? How many interviewers did you have?
Interesting question. So my first interview, I went late. Sorry, I was being a Kenyan. So this happened. Actually, I would always advise, prepare for your interview. Prepare. Read every bit of the mail they sent you. So I was set at the time the interview was supposed to start.
Mm-hmm.
But I was actually expecting them to ring me, but it was for me to click the link and get into the interview for them to invite me in.
Oh.
So I waited, and it was almost 10 minutes past, and I was like, I'm so sure they keep time, what's happening? And then I went back to my mail and then realized, I needed to click on the link. So when I clicked on the link, they were waiting for me. So I joined the interview.
I knew the way you joined me. Sorry, so sorry. I was just about.
Yeah, so you get into the interview and you're late and you're like, hello. Network was a problem as well. But they were very actually friendly. And I had prepared for my interview, so I had content. I came late, but I had content. That's all that matters.
Yeah. You've said about getting late into an interview, and I remember I was just doing an interview someday, and then the lights just went out. Like, what do we do? And it just shuts down because your Wi-Fi and everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, so back to the job offer. How many interviews did you have first?
I had 4, invited for 4, but I only did 2.
No, like the interviewers.
Interviewers, 2 of them.
2 of them?
Yeah.
So like one was an admin and then one was a nurse, or how was it?
Yeah, no, both of them were, one of them was administrative, but still a nurse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A nurse administrator, I would say. And then the other one was the nurse now, like the nurse lead.
Oh, the nurse lead.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the interview, how long did it take for you to get an offer?
So after the interview, they give you up to 24 hours to get a feedback.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hakuna stress. There's no
Yeah.
waiting.
And then-
Where are you waiting for 3 months again?
Yeah, no. In the next
24 hours.
within 24 hours, for one of them, I received my feedback of the interview like immediately. Immediately we finished that call, I got a mail.
And then like we are here, we have an offer for you.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, you've been successful for attending our interview. If you like our offer, just send us a mail saying that you've accepted an offer. Yeah.
So how long do you have between now getting the offer and accepting the offer? Like, do you have a limited time, say a week or so?
No, they don't limit you. Some trust will, like, depending on the employer. My employer didn't limit me, just told me a letter of acceptance, you can accept it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But definitely you're looking for a job, you're not going to take forever.
Yeah. So had you maybe researched and known other offers and maybe the salaries and everything, just so to be sure that the kind of offer that you're getting is in line with, say, the market rate or something?
Yeah, so you have to be beforehand, like before even applying for jobs, you already have done your research, and you know what kind of a job you're looking for. Definitely nursing. At what level you are looking for the job, and you know the rates.
And you know the rates.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, like, for instance, different contracts, how many hours they offer you, and what are when they give you your visa, what are the requirements, all those kind of things. You have to put them into consideration so you know what a good offer is.
Yeah, you have already known. Yeah. And maybe also there are people who had come before you, so you already knew how much these other people are getting paid, and just to know you're within range.
Yeah.
And then
I would say if actually I was lucky because one of my friends was guiding me through the process because she had already relocated. But not to be afraid, if you don't have anyone who's abroad, there are lots of information online. You can always go and search, and you'll have the correct information.
Yeah. And there's this channel.
And our channel as well. We're here
to give you.
Yeah.
So you accepted the offer?
I accepted the offer finally. Actually, I didn't even take 24 hours to accept the offer. I just read the offer, and then they gave me that offer. I checked the working hours. That was one of the things I considered. I also checked the rates that they're going to pay me. I checked whether they're providing me accommodation. I checked whether they'll provide me trainings. Yeah, and all those kind of benefits. And I was happy with them. That's why I accepted the offer.
Yeah. And I think Rose has mentioned something that I would like to just emphasize. For when you now get to the visa process, the job offer, the contract that you have is what supports your visa. So every requirement that is in your visa application should be supported by your contract. So the things like accommodation, the things like the amount that you're being paid, those things come and play a very vital role in your visa application. So that's something that someone needs to consider, because if you're coming in as either healthcare worker or a skilled worker, and you're just coming to the UK to work, then your contract is your support. So it needs to support everything that is required for your visa. So let's go to your certificate of sponsorship. How long did it take?
Mine took 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In 3 weeks, I had my certificate of sponsorship. So this certificate of sponsorship, it has a unique number. That unique number is the number that you provide during your visa application. Yeah.
So again, just to maybe elaborate more, after you have your offer, you then need to have a certificate of sponsorship, which is like more of a work permit, right?
Yeah, and then they're committing themselves to supporting you. Like, you not get a visa if they're not sure where you're gonna live, because they don't want you to take you to a different country and then you go suffer there. So with your employer giving you a certificate of sponsorship means that they are responsible for your welfare while you're working for them.
Yeah. So it took 3 weeks for you to get your certificate of sponsorship. And then now for your visa application, how long did it take?
So I applied for my visa. I just applied this online. Again, you go to UKVI website, apply. And then after I applied, you choose a date to submit your biometrics. And then, so it all depends with what dates are available. For me, I got a date like a week later. So I booked for the date, went for my biometrics. But from the time I went for my biometrics to the time I got my visa, I got it in 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're lucky. It took me almost 2 months. 2 months going 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, after getting your visa, did they pay for your flight? Maybe just to ask.
So, depending with the kind of visa you're applying for. For mine, initially, people used to call it tier 2 visa, but currently it's called skilled worker visa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So for the skilled worker visa, once I got my visa, I sent it to my employer to be like a proof that I already have the visa with me, and then they booked for my flights. So the question they'll ask you, from which date are you available to travel? You give them a date. They will not definitely book for you the exact date you told them, but they'll check and consider what you said.
Okay. But not earlier though.
No, never
Maybe
earlier.
later.
Because they don't want to book a flight and then you miss it because you are not ready.
Yeah. But that's really good. And being considerate, because if someone books a flight earlier than when you expect and you need to like prepare and everything, that will not be good.
Yeah.
So you got to the UK.
I finally got my ticket booking. Oh, I used to like check my mail every day whether somebody has deleted. I was so excited, and then I started packing my bags, and then booked and then went to the airport when it was my day to travel. And then when you travel, one thing you should know, you're moving from your country, so you don't have like a network. Yeah. So my employer was good enough. She already sent me through the mail and told me, though, when you land into the airport, make sure you don't get out of the airport before you contact me, because there is no way you'll contact me afterwards. Yeah. So I landed in Manchester, and then rang my employer through WhatsApp because I had to use my internet, and then she sent me a taxi to pick me from the airport.
Oh,
yeah.
Considerate people. Yeah. That's really nice. So from then, that's when you started preparing for your OSCE?
Yeah, so from there we were taken to accommodation, and then that was I landed on a Friday, so I had the weekend for myself, and then on Monday we started training for OSCE. Remember, we've done CBT, we've done IELTS, but you're still not a UK RN because you've not done the practical exam. Basically, OSCE is a practical exam. Yeah.
So how long does it take for you to prepare for OSCE?
For the OSCE training, it depends on the available dates. Again, I said.
Yeah.
Different trust will book for you different exams at different times. So for my trust, we always went to Northern Ireland and university known as Ulster. So depending on the available dates they have. Yeah, but it took me about 5 to 6 weeks to prepare for the exam.
Do you just prepare for exams or work at the same time? Like purely commit to preparing for exams, or do you work?
Depends with your employer, I would say. But for my employer, I had to like only training. I trained it by exam, and then after I passed, I moved to the hospital now.
Okay, so the training is like more of practical training?
Yeah, actually the OSCE exam is a practical exam, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How was it?
Oh, it's different. It's really different. So I would say if you practice as a nurse, you know some things are easier done than said. But for this practical exam, you have to talk what you're doing.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to talk what you're doing. For instance, like the hand washing, the normal hand washing, we all know like the 7 steps of hand washing.
Yeah.
But you have to verbalize. So that was a very common song. Everyone was like palm to palm to dorsum, fingers interlocking, fingers interlacing. And you see all that kind of thing. It was really it was really difficult, but
yeah. Okay.
You have trainers to support you with all that.
With all that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you actually need the 5 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, 5 to 6 weeks. And then for your OSCE exam, you have 10 stations, and you have to pass in them all. Among the 10 stations, 4 of them are written, and 6 of them are practical.
And do you do your exams on the same day? Like this 10
stations on the same day, and
within how long? Like
3 hours for the written ones. For the first one, the assessment is 20 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20. So that's 80 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the station is about 20 minutes as well. So like it's 200 minutes, I would say.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So do you have like people, so you get into, say, an exam room, and then do your 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, and then now you move into another place where you have to...
So for these exams, you have like a station, you know, the way you get into a room and it's just one station, the 20-minute session. You have your assessor and you have cameras everywhere. So
Oh.
there is no cheating at all. So you have to be prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're assessing, because it's like a practical exam. It's not like the way you get into a room and then you start. No. So it's like you're getting into this nursing station, yeah?
Exactly, yeah.
And then you have like 10...
You have 10 stations to attend to, but they give you breaks in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how long does it take for you to get your results?
So results are next day. You have your results, but depending with different universities. For the university that the trust I work for chose was next day.
Mm-hmm.
For some other trust, it takes a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you do your exams on a Friday, it's the worst because you have to wait over the weekend and then get your results on Monday. So like over the weekend, you'll be really tensed and anxious over your results. But
what are the consequences of failing your exam?
Actually, we always say failing is a first trial into your exam. So if you fail your first attempt, you have 2 more chances to resit your exam. But if you exhaust your 3 chances, you have to start the process all over again at NMC registration.
Really?
Yeah.
So everything, including IELTS?
No, CBT, and then CBT.
So, and then does that affect your certificate of sponsorship in any way?
Yeah, it does. Because when you signed your contract, remember, your recruiter was recruiting you as a nurse. But you failed your exam.
Your OSCE.
Or your OSCE, yeah? So you can now not practice as a nurse because you're not registered. We said you can only work as a nurse if you're registered. And if you fail your OSCE part, that means you're not registered. You have to pass both the theory and the practical for you to be a UK RN.
Okay.
So for some employers, will just support you and give you an alternative to work as a carer or like a healthcare assistant while you receipt your exams. But some of them will end your contract, so you'll have to either look for another employer or go back to your country.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you will pass, don't worry, if you have the intention of coming to the UK. Yeah. So I think actually that's it for this video. If you have any questions or comments, just feel free to send a DM or just write in the comment section and we'll respond. And if you have maybe suggestions on what you would like to hear more, maybe we've just touched on IELTS in passing or just touched on OSCE in passing and you'll want maybe more information, feel free to just leave a comment or just DM us and we'll respond.
Yeah,
Thank you. Bye.